Hey, so this is a quick video to talk about. I just want to talk about what I'm going through lately or what I've put myself through lately this last 1 week. So, for the last few years, I've been what some people would consider a NEET, you know, not in education, employment, or training. And it sounds worse than it actually is because I was actually educating myself, but not officially, and I was also working but not officially, right? I was like an English teacher, even though it wasn't that constant. I was an English teacher, right? But today I want to talk about how Stoicism sort of changed my life, even though I'm not like a Stoic or anything like that. It has changed my life in a sense. I don't know if this is gonna actually be. It was already a pivotal moment when I first read a book about it. I read The Stoic Guide to a Good Life. That's the book I read, and it changed my life. I feel like both it got me more into literature and like both fiction and non-fiction, and it gave me a new outlook in life. I feel like so today I want to talk about it. The reason why I want to tell I'm gonna like just disclose it right now because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna think that it's a little bit I'm overreacting, but I'm not actually overreacting in a sense because so this was my first. I mean, this is not my job yet, right? But I've been doing practices to get this job. And to give you some background, I am a very talkative person. I'm very extroverted, I would say. However, I would say I have anxiety because, or at least social anxiety, because I often get a little bit nervous when talking to people, even though I actually like it, right? So I think for me, I can say that even though it's self diagnosed, of course, I would say that I'm a little bit anxious in those situations, right? I won't say that I have anxiety, but I'm a little bit anxious in those situations. And me being somebody who, it's, I'm, I don't like being fragile, I don't like being cuddled. So both, the fact that I don't want to be cuddled and the fact that I really like talking to people, um, kind of made me want to go out there and like get myself uncomfortable. I want to talk to people. I want to be good. I want to be well spoken. I want to talk to more people and, be able to just overcome this fear that I have, which is, like an urge for me at this point. To give you some background, I do not speak Spanish native. Sorry, I do not speak English natively. I speak Spanish natively, and English is sort of like the filter that allows me to talk to people. And my Spanish is actually pretty not bad, but it's withered a lot, you know, over the years. And my English has become my main language at this point. Wouldn't say my best, probably my best at this point, but that's one of the problems. And that's pretty much all the background that you need. The job that I signed up for is a call center where you have to talk to people and especially you have to sell to people, which I really like, because of course you're dealing both with people and you're also annoying them. You're also trying to sell them something. You're also trying to persuade them. So it's not only it's a very conducive experience for me because I'm both learning how to sell. I'm both putting myself out there to both be a subordinate for someone because I knew that getting into that experience, into this experience, I was both gonna meet people who were going to test my meager knowledge in stoicism. You know, I was going to implement a lot of things that I had learned, just being, cuddled in my room, just sheltered here. And yeah, and I've definitely gotten that part, even though I am just practicing right now, like I'm taking practices to get that job. I've definitely gotten a lot of, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Sorry, that's the trash rock. Anyhow, so I've been exercising my stoicism this last few years, or last few days, sorry. Um, Actually doing it, not just like reading and learning about it and writing about it because I've been doing that a lot. Um, and honestly, it felt good. I did not feel as nervous as I used to feel, or as I could say that I would have felt if I hadn't had this knowledge, or if I hadn't read all of these, stoic points of view that really helped me, both stoicism and CBT have helped me handle these things much better. And that's my endeavor right now. My endeavor is to, I want to be a great human being in the stoic eye, I guess. I want to be virtuous, not because it's fashionable or anything like that. I just think that's something I concern myself with because it's something that has been bothering me for my entire life. You know, I've always been um, sort of like anxious, stressed, nervous over a lot of things, and I guess developing this peace of mind, this unwavering peace, unwavering happiness, is something that it's more about when for me rather than a rather than a goal. But of course, it's something that I enjoy. So far, I've been not insulted directly, but I've been disdained, and I've been you know I've gotten myself in a lot of like uncomfortable and boring, like embarrassing situations, right? Which help me, even though they're small, they help me. You know what I'm saying? They help me implement these things, and I'm glad that they're coming progressively and not just kind of like bursting on my head and just being like, oh my god, solar system doesn't work. I hate this. I can tell and I can say that these things are working and I'm handling things much better. The specific book or the specific chapter in the book that helped me, that pretty much pushed me to put myself in this situation was Providence, or well, Seneca on Providence. I forgot who he writes the letter to, but he pretty much talks about why good men suffer. Not to say that I'm a good man, but it gives good points of view as to why we suffer. And even though I'm not a believer, and of course I don't believe in Zeus or the universe, at least not as of today, things can change. Um, I would say that it has really helped me. You know, I like this part where he says that nothing bad can happen to a good man. Anything that would that could happen to it, he would handle it with virtue, and anything, because there's no bad or good thing, right? It's actually a really really complex concept to explain, at least for someone like me. But he says that any situation would assume a good man's color. So if you're a good man, if you're somebody who has that mentality, that I guess in a sense is use your reason, use your positivity, things will not affect you, whatever they are. And yeah, it really helped me to just put myself out there, know that this discomfort, it's not gonna kill me. It's gonna it's gonna make me stronger. It's gonna make me more virtuous. It's gonna test me. It's gonna test both my patience, my um, very redundant, my virtue, how I handle things, my reason, um, all of these things is gonna make me even learn more about stoicism or about myself through practice rather than just theory, right? So I've become very pragmatic in this sense. Well, in this pursuit of peace, in a sense. Sorry, I feel like I'm babbling at this point because I don't really have a script or anything. I just wanted to turn on the camera and talk about it. So I don't know if I got admitted in it. So the thing is that, I'm very good at English, I would say. I've worked towards it. Of course, it's not like a talent or anything like that. I was bad like anyone else. But, putting myself into a room in which a lot of people have experience, a lot of people don't have experience, but, I feel like cold calls or call centers are the place in which you find people who are well spoken or people who are extroverted, right? Because those are the ones that are more likely to take those jobs. Of course, if you're an introverted, anxious person, it's very less likely for you to go for those jobs, right? You could easily just be at the back of a freaking kitchen just washing dishes and being comfortable, right? However, I am an anxious person, but I'm actually very, very eager to learn how to sell, to learn how to persuade people, to learn how to talk to people, to learn how to face my fears and be calm while doing so. And of course, I wasn't the best there. I actually would say I was at the bottom in terms of talent and skills there. Um, Maybe in terms of eagerness, I was actually a very very high up there, but in talent and potential, probably I wasn't there. And they were speculating who was going to leave or who was going to get rejected at the end, which is tomorrow, by the way. Um, Tomorrow it's gonna be decided who's gonna stay and who's gonna be turned down. And I was pretty much telling everybody like I think it's gonna be me, just because I don't think I don't think I'm cut out for this. Sorry, that's actually not what I meant to say. Like I don't think I'm good at this right now. I don't think anybody's cut out for anything. Of course, like, there are people who are good at something, or some people who are bad at something, but I don't think anybody's cut out for anything, just for one thing. So I said like I don't think I'm good at this right now. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who don't have experience, but still have kind of like the skills, which I lack as of today. And I told a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying? And they told me otherwise. They told me I had a good voice for that type of things, but I still was very skeptical about my permanence, or getting the job. And so I did actually kind of well that day, because that same day I was like saying like, bro, I don't think I'm gonna make it, and that's okay, because I was already picturing that in my head, like this is gonna teach me how to learn or how to handle rejection, right? So I was just picturing that in my head right now. And of course, if that happens, I'm gonna try to implement it and take it with as much virtue as I can. I'm gonna take it as well as I can. This is gonna teach me. That's why I see this as such a um, you know like, how do you call it? Frick. Um, oh my god, I forgot. Anyhow, it's such a productive and insightful experience for me. I feel like, oh yeah, conducive. It's very conducive for me because it's teaching me so many things. It's teaching me how to learn, how to learn, how to talk to people, how to sell, how to just put myself in uncomfortable situations when I have to literally sell something to somebody when I don't feel comfortable, when I have to like present my, well, not present, but like perform in front of so many people. You know what I'm saying? To do things that are embarrassing but should not embarrass me. One of the things that I got from the book, I don't remember exactly who said it, because of course one of the great Stoics said it. I don't know if it was Epictetus, probably either Epictetus or Seneca said, "Be ashamed only of what is actually shameful, and ignore people's low opinions on things." And it's helping me in so many ways. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is like what Musashi said, like when you know the way you see it in everything, right? But in this type of situations, every single thing, every single small like thing is a brick towards, you know, let's say building this house of towards this goal. It's a step towards the goal that I have, right? And yeah, so that same day when I was saying like I don't think I'm gonna make it, I performed decently well, which actually I really like, because it showed me that I can handle this, right? That I can actually be sort of a good, seller if I kind of like know how things go, right? If I know the product well, if I feel comfortable, because I felt comfortable and I actually was volunteering. Um, and by the way, the few that actually performed that was a simulation were, I think, the lowest in the ranks. So that was sort of like a chance for us to redeem ourselves, I think, because other people didn't perform, and somehow they were like pretty much the ones who were good enough to not need to perform, to not need to demonstrate anything, right? But yeah, and I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see how this thing wraps up, or how it continues, because of course if it continues, I'm gonna have to continue selling, and I'm gonna have to continue putting myself in uncomfortable situations. And also, if this doesn't work and I get rejected, I will have to deal with rejection, and I actually kind of like that. I kind of like, you know how things go. I kind of like putting myself in this situation, because again, I know that this is hardening me. This is testing my virtue. This is making me a this is pushing me a step closer to the person who I want to be. And that's why it's just like not fear. Of course there's like still some anxiety there. I still kind of like feel a little bit anxious before doing it, before doing all of these things. But thanks to all of these ideas, to all of these points of view, I'm able to, have at least here some peace, some purpose that is, in a sense, stronger than my fears and my nature. And by nature, I mean like, my anxiety that somehow was like either, I don't know, like pushed into my brain when I was a kid or maybe genetically. It's just beautiful that I can, experience this. I've been learning a lot of other things as well, not just how to deal with people and the situations, but of course not learning, but I've been trying to strengthen them. Um, and yeah, there are a lot of other things that I wish I could talk about. I wish I could, make more of these videos, sort of like to have like a community where I could talk about this. That would be actually kind of cool. Um, but as of today, as of right now, this is gonna be a journal, sort of a public journal, actually. That's pretty much it. Thanks for listening to my yap. If you are wondering exactly what books I read, that it was I don't remember the author, sorry, but it was The Guide to a Good Life, The Stoic Guide to a Good Life. I was reading Letters and Essays by Seneca. I forgot. I mean, that's the name of the book. I don't know the author. Um, I think it was Oxford something, right? And especially it was so far it is just Providence and I think On a Happy Life, or The Happiness or something, right? So just read those books. They're really nice, you know. They really kind of like give you good ideas. I feel like you don't have to be like too deep into stoicism to kind of like get good ideas and kind of like be changed for the good by this pieces of literature. That's it. I guess I'll catch you all later.